But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. Let me tell you about my great God. Hey guys, Pastor Tim here. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you're ready to get your day started off in God's Word. We are in 1 Kings chapter 4, and we're just kind of getting an overview of how Solomon's operating his kingdom. We have a list here at the beginning of the chapter to kind of list off Solomon's cabinet, his advisors, his princes that he had that rules over certain portions of the kingdom, 12 I believe in all. And you may see some familiar names in there. You may see some sons of people that have familiar names in there. So it's just kind of neat, the lineage of people from David's reign that continues on through Solomon's reign as well. But beyond that, we get to what Solomon's kingdom was kind of like. It was a very prosperous kingdom. It goes into depth about his wealth. It was a time of peace, prosperity, in great contrast to what his father David dealt with. Remember, David it seemed like he was always fighting the Philistines, fighting these guys, always in battles, it seemed. And Solomon's reign was quite the opposite. It was a time of peace and prosperity, great prosperity. And the chapter goes into great detail about all the land he had, all the cattle, how he was getting money from not just the people, but also from other kingdoms as well. And we also start to see some seeds of sin being sown in this chapter. In fact, the Bible talks about how the children of Israel, they were eating, drinking, and making merry, and it seems like they're enjoying their new prosperity as a very powerful, wealthy kingdom, but we don't see much of an emphasis at all on their spiritual well-being. All right, and sadly, that can often happen when someone starts to experience some sort of material success or wealth. They begin to neglect this spiritual aspect of your lives. And I hope, guys, that never happens with you. It's not wrong to have possessions. It's not wrong to have a great job that pays well, but it is wrong to allow your possessions to possess you. Always remember that every good and perfect thing cometh down from God. All right, it's not of ourselves. It's all a blessing of God that we do not deserve. So don't treat it as if that's the only thing you need in your life and forget and neglect your relationship with Jesus Christ. And we're starting to see that kind of happen with the children of Israel here, because right after Solomon's reign, all that glory goes away. It fades away. The nation is divided, but we haven't got there yet, but it does not last. And it's all because they start to neglect their relationship with God. And Solomon himself starts to sow some sinful seeds as well. He's accumulating to himself chariots and horses and wealth from other nations, things that the Bible in the book of Deuteronomy and even in 1 Samuel warned, hey, make sure your king does not do this, because he's starting to shift his focus from relying on God to relying on himself and his own power. And not only that, he accumulates more wives unto himself as well. I know I said it last chapter, but more wives equals more problems for Solomon. And these wives will turn his heart away from worshiping the one true God. All right, so these seeds are being sown. Main thing I got out of this chapter, it really wasn't even mentioned in this chapter, but it's something I kind of hit upon last chapter, and it's just becoming more evident to me. This is the greatest king that Israel ever had. He had great wealth, he had great power, and it's a comforting thing to me to understand that I serve a far greater king than Solomon. We see at the end of this chapter, Solomon he's not only wise, but also talks about he's a very great student of nature, all right? And you see that in a lot of his writings in Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon. He always refers to nature. He describes things by things he sees in nature. So he obviously loved nature. He loved the beauty of it. And Jesus Christ himself would describe nature as well when teaching and giving lessons. And he said that the lilies of the field that God cares for are far greater than Solomon and all the different attire and arraignment that he had. And it just kind of reminds me that the one who created it all is far greater than anything that's been created. All right? The creator is greater than the creation, and we serve a king who is far greater than Solomon. In all his wisdom, he's greater. In all his wealth, he is greater. In all his power, he is greater. And like I said last chapter, we can come boldly before God, before his throne of grace. Guys, never forget how great your God is. When you start to experience success in this world, in this in life, in your job, in your relationships, whatever it may be, never forget that it's all because of the blessings of a great God that you serve, and it's only because of him that you can experience these good and great things. That's all I got for today's chapter, guys. Don't forget who your great God is. You serve a greater God than any man that's ever lived, not just Solomon. You serve a greater God than any person that will ever live. So don't put your faith in man. Don't put your hopes and dreams in a future president or official or sports star or what celebrity. Put your faith and trust in your great and mighty God. Hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. God bless.